Welcome to the Fallout Post-Apocalyptic Edition, your number one source for all of the fallout of your favorite reality TV. Today, oh y'all, we are reviewing an entire week of Big Brother Canada. We're going to be talking about episodes 21, 22, and 23 of Big Brother Canada Season 9. I'm Logan Murphy.
I'm Jordyn Lagace, also known as BB Can's Source.
Oh, Jordyn. My dear Jordyn, what the fuck happened tonight?
That was a ride from start to finish.
Oh, my goodness. So we are still, post craziness of this fake double that happened. We are going to be talking about the entire week. We do again apologize for not being live last night. Life happens, so we just weren't there. So yeah, we're going to be quickly running through Monday and Wednesday's episodes because all we really want to talk about tonight is the fake double, because good Lord Jesus.
I'm still reeling.
I am also still reeling. We're going to make it through the first two episodes, like I said, very, very quickly. But before we get started, if you are watching with us live or after the fact on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, joining us in the chat if you're watching live. And if you are listening to us afterwards, wherever fine podcasts can be listened to, make sure you're also following, liking, leaving us a comment, all of that kind of stuff. Audio versions are available on our link tree. Go ahead and check that out. And you can follow all of us on Twitter. Twitter links are in the banner. And without further ado, let's get into Monday's episode. So we start Monday with the fallout of, still emotional, the fallout of the loss of Tina Thistle. I'm still upset. I'm still reeling. We got to see Tina tonight, so I am happy. But Kiefer says that he's survived the craziest week ever. Tara says that she has no friends.
Survived
this
craziest week ever.
Oh my god. Last night's live would have been insane just because we had so much to talk about. But yeah, Tara has no friends, but then who cares, because Tara wins the head of household. Great.
Welcome to the Reign of Tera.
The Reign of Tera. And so my favorite part, I think, of Tara's entire HOH reign is that she put the throuple on slop, which I was like, thank you. Thank you. Finally, everyone in the house has been on slop. And so Monday's episode... So Monday's episode is basically just... the sauce, the thruple, the isosceles, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Whatever they want to be called.
I'm still calling them the thruple. So the thruple...
The emancipation of the thruple?
Yes. So the thruple is talking about... And their plan is that they are going to pitch to Tara that they're going to keep her safe at Final Five, and that they want to get out Brayden at this point. But there's this weird segment where the throuple are literally openly talking in the kitchen, being like, Tara's floated her way here, she's gonna lose, yada, yada, yada. And Tara's literally sitting in the living room listening to them saying things. And I'm just like, y'all really are not gonna look around to see who's there when y'all are talking?
This goes back to something from me where if you're gonna talk shit, make sure you clear the room. You check under the bed, you check behind the door, you check under the table,
in the pantry, all of it.
Look everywhere, because clearly, especially, we're at this stage in the game where you need to watch what you say because jury management is very fucking real.
The realist at this point. We are in the middle of
And
jury.
why would you say that when the HOH is right the fuck over there?
Well, they didn't realize it, Jordyn, because they didn't clear the room.
But this is what I mean. You cleared the fucking room.
But anyway,
Lord
we get a
help
cute
me.
little we get a cute little HOH segment. Tera's letters from both of her parents. That's cute. I also really liked this chess analogy that Ty gave us. I thought that was really cool. Saying that Beth is the king, Jed's the queen, Tera's the rook, Kiefer's the knight, and Brayden's the pawn, and that he's the bishop. Which I think, honestly, it all kind of lined up in my mind. Like, all of that made logical sense to me.
Ty's self-awareness. I didn't realize he was this self-aware.
We got a little bit of villain Ty this week. And I, personally, am on board.
I was here for it. I was here for some villain Ty because we haven't really had a villain since the Roe show. Or even
Josh, honestly.
Josh. It's just water. It's just water.
Yeah.
We haven't had any villainy. And as someone who is always a stan of the villains, it was kind of nice to see some villain Ty.
Yeah, because it basically just comes down to the fact that Ty is realizing that his endgame can't include Beth and Jed because they're both going to be more, in his mind, they're both going to be more loyal to each other than they are to him. And I'm very, very glad that he came to this realization this early, and he actually talked with Tera in the Wendy's, because Tera took him to Wendy's, and he's talking to Tera about how he can't continue with the trio, and that Beth would take Jed down in all scenarios with the veto, and that he tells Tera that he wouldn't use the veto. And the other thing I liked about this particular segment is that I think it's a conversation with Ty, Kiefer, and Brayden, and they're like, oh yeah, backdoor, like something about a backdoor. And I think it was Brayden was like, well, you can't backdoor anyone now because everyone plays in the veto. And I'm like, thank you. Which brought us to this new term that I like, screen door. Okay. I kind of like it.
Screen door?
I kind of like it. Yeah, so like if you play in the veto, lose, and then get renommed, it's a screen door, not a backdoor. Like, because you're getting like the screen door slammed in your face. I kind of liked that. I'm on board for that to be a new BB term, honestly. I'm on board.
Screen door. Well, because surely nobody else knows what the fuck a backdoor is.
The only person who knows what a backdoor is Victoria, and she was the only actual backdoor of the season. Like...
The shenanigans.
Like, what?
The buffoonery.
Oh my Lord,
the maneuvery.
The gaggery. And so at the end of Monday's episode, Tera tells Beth that she's going up. Beth has a hissy fit. For lack of a better term, Beth has a hissy fit. And
I don't like. You would think at this point in the game, Beth, you should really know that the veto is all that really matters. Like, the only thing that's really keeping you safe is HOH.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, she has to realize she's making moves. She has been a threat for a little while now.
No, because the only person that can make moves and have moves count on their resume, Jordyn, is Beth. Remember that. Beth is the only one that can take credit for moves.
Lord,
no one else.
look.
No one else can have credit for any moves because Beth is the only person that can have credit for her
Keep
moves.
drinking that delusion.
I'm just gonna say it. Literally, fuck Beth. I'm so fucking mad that she's still in the game. Look, I'm just gonna say it. I'm so fucking mad she's still in the game. I don't understand why she's still here.
So, like, as mad as I am that she's still in the game, you have to give her credit that she's playing a relatively good game to still be there.
I think she was playing a very good game. She played a very good middle of the game, is what I'm gonna say. I think she's kind of fallen off as time has gone by. And then by the end of Monday's episode, we get the noms for the week, which are the showmans. The showmans is on the block. Yay. Jed and Beth were nominated.
So here is my thoughts. Tera should have dominated Jed and Ty.
Agreed.
But look, the throuple hit the block, and I couldn't be more happy about it.
They hit the block for the first time this season. I am happy as well. So moving into
why did it take them so long?
Because they established themselves. They had a damn it was just like a back to back to back. Like Beth won HOH and then Jed won HOH, and they were targeting other members of the Sunsetters over them. Like it was just like Victoria. A lot of it, honestly, unfortunately, has to do with the fact that Victoria wanted to work with them. If Vic had just said "fuck it," I don't think we would see maybe one member of the throuple still alive.
I think if
instead,
Vic would have said "fuck it," if she have worked with the dolls, I think the directory of all of this, I don't think they would still be in the house.
I think the throuple probably would be gone, and I think Victoria and Austin both would still be in the game.
Yeah, because Victoria could pull off the wins when she needed to do it. So
yeah,
I think I don't want to be that person, but we have Victoria wanting to work with the throuple to blame for the throuple still being here.
Yeah, I would agree. But anyway, we move into Wednesday's episode. We get the fallout of the nominations. We get a good DR with Ty saying that he's shifted loyalty. He shifted his loyalty from Beth and Jed to himself. And we see this really nice relationship segment with Tera and Ty, which I really liked.
That was cute.
Yeah, and then there's a Tera and Beth damage control convo. Beth is like, I hate it, or something to the effect of I hate that bitch, or something like that. And we get Ty, Tera, and Kiefer kind of enjoying the showmance is on the block. Like, thank God. Like, the honeymoon is over. Let's get to business, basically. And
for that.
And so immediately, it felt very immediate and very sudden. We have the veto comp. Kind of out of nowhere, we see Jed going into we see Jed going into the Expedia room, and all of a sudden his brother's on the screen, and he's like, "Hey, bud, we're going to Banff. I'm gonna help you win the veto." And I'm just like, "Okay,
come on, Jed, let's go to Banff."
Yeah, so we get the Expedia sponsored again.
I would be okay with it.
Yeah, again, I'm gonna mention Jordyn. No name for the veto comp. The veto comp has no name. None of these vetoes have had names.
I'm calling it a road trip of some kind. I'm
calling it
Expedia Puzzle Extravaganza.
If you're watching with us live or listening after the fact, if you have a cute name for this veto competition, comment below. We would love to hear your
Who knows?
name.
I might pop your comments up on the screen.
Ooh. So yes, we get this Expedia-sponsored family veto competition where every person has like a different family member coaching them through, not really coaching because they're all pre-recorded, but like being like, hey bud, let's go on a road trip. And then after they're done, oh my God, you did so good. We're so proud of you. Love you. And I love that everyone got a family message this week because everyone got it in the veto, and then Tara got the family video with her husband, her very attractive husband. I might add, Tara, you did good for yourself, love. We love to see it.
To Tara and her attractive
now, how
husband.
tall do we think he is? Because she's 5 foot. How tall do we think he is? Like 6'3"?
He looked tall.
He looked tall. Like, props to you, love. Props to you. I love that for you.
You know who else has an attractive sibling?
Jed.
Jetson. Hello, Jed's brother. We love you. What a do, baby.
Ooh. You know who else? You know who else had a fabulous family member? Brayden's mom. I want to be friends with Brayden's mom. She seemed so fabulous.
I love Brayden's mom.
I love. But yeah, so this is a 3-part veto competition. So they have to find their corresponding bags. They get like clues or something. Like one bag has a sticker and a purple ribbon or whatever the fuck it was. So they have to find their 2 bags from like a big
I don't remember what they were like. How long do you think they were actually up on the screen? Because those hints look like they went quick.
Oh, I thought they were like rotating because there was a couple clues, and so it looked like they were like rotated them in and out. Is what it felt like to me.
Yeah, because like I was like, those are going really fast.
Yeah, because there was not like one clue didn't specifically be like one of your things has this. It would be like the one bag with a sticker has a green ribbon or whatever the fuck it was. So I think they like cycled through them periodically. But yeah, so that was part 1, and then you have like a giant slide puzzle for part 2.
Okay, so I loved part 2. I think I would have like I seen the solution to part 2 like right away when I looked at it. The third part is where I would have wanted to punch something.
And a couple people did. So yeah, the third part is the Expedia poster puzzle. So they have to take all of their pieces.
What I want to know, how the fuck do you not know where they, like, that puzzle was on the wall all season? What tripped me up was how the fuck are you fucking up the locations on it? Because it was basic, like, geological on like a map.
Geological, Jordyn?
I don't fucking know. Look, the
geographical
locations. See, señorita, and this is why I would not have won the veto.
No, you would not have won. You know who else didn't win the veto? Brayden, because he had the time of like 38 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, pray, no."
Did he max out?
No, he didn't max out. I think max was probably an hour, but he had like an exact time, so he didn't max out, which is wonderful. But yeah, so Brayden came in fifth.
I thought it was interesting that the first person that went.
Well, I was getting there, Jordyn. But yeah, so like Jordyn said, Jed won the veto. Yeah, so it came down to it came down to Ty and Jed. And Ty had a better time going into the puzzle, but kind of fucked up the puzzle because he hadn't studied the wall, whereas it looked like Jed had, so Jed wins the veto. And other than Ty winning the skip the dishes, which I was happy about, the rest of this episode is just nonsense, buffoonery, tomfoolery, because Kiefer comes up with this nonsense plan to use Jed's ego
against
because
Jed.
against him, because Jed had been saying that that he wanted to make like a big move. Like, oh my god, what if like someone was on the block, they won the veto, they used it on the other person, and then they stayed. Like, apparently that's been a conversation they've been having for weeks. So Kiefer's like, you know what? I'm gonna try to make this move. And Jed agrees to it.
I mean, Jed's ego is quite impressive.
Yeah, like I love Jed, don't get me wrong, but like this was crazy.
Playing, like, this just goes to show that he's had an ego the whole time, because wasn't it Josh played Jed's ego against him earlier in the season, where he triggered that house meeting. So I just find it interesting that they clearly know how to get to Jed. Because what do you do?
Yeah. So what are you at? What are you at, Jordyn? What are you at?
I'm at Big Brother.
Big Brother. So Kiefer comes up with this elaborate plan. Beth kinda convinces him to do it, and so we get to the veto, and Jed is sitting on the block and uses the veto on Beth. And he literally says, Jordyn, this is what sent me. He goes, Beth, I like doing a lot of things with you. Being on the block isn't one of them. And I just died. I was like, what is happening on this day? What the fuck?
I would have to say that went down as one of the stupidest moves we have seen ever.
But wait, Jordyn, it gets stupider. So, as part of this agreement... What?
Didn't he even say, like, in the DR, this might be the stupidest move if it backfires?
Yes, he literally said that. And I think Tera did as well. Because as part of this agreement, Jordyn, Tera agrees to put Brayden on the block for some reason. And so what we end up with, Jordyn, is that Jed and Brayden are on the block. And
clearly those that are watching know that you're in charge of banners now, because there are no spelling mistakes.
I know how to spell Brayden's name correctly, unlike certain people in this podcast. But anyway.
What a do, baby.
I also know what geographical things are, unlike certain people here. Anyway,
it's been a long week.
It has been a long week. Let's get into this fake double eviction.
It's been 84 years.
Wait for it. It's been 84 years. So let us know in the chat, in the comments, what you thought about this dumb fucking move. All of these dumbasses playing the game.
Yes. One thing I want to say before we like dip into this, fake double eviction. Hi, Big Brother. Thank you for giving us some behind the scenes. We want more.
Yes.
The superfan in me loves seeing the camera run. I love seeing the camera run. And
same.
What else goes to show is, hi, you know it's Big Brother Canada because we have to have a dramatic story like
this intro.
Extra AF intro.
Normally I like the intros. This one I was just like, this, I don't know. Just no. But you know what I did like, Jordyn? Arissa's dress. This is a better dress, Arissa. This looked better. I was on board. It was above the knee. It was stylish.
We like the length. We like the length. We like everything about it.
Yes. Yes.
One thing I do want to like, are we not getting the exit interview for this week on TikTok?
We probably won't get it until after Monday's episode.
I'm wondering if it'll be like a double thing next week.
I assume they'll probably like release all, like it'll be all the interviews and whatnot will happen Tuesday probably, is what I'm assuming. Yeah, I don't know.
That was something I was kind of like, 5 days without feeds. Holy shit.
I mean, it's going to be nice to not have to be updated on feeds, if I'm being honest. But, like, what if a bunch of stuff happens and we don't know about it and I'm going to be annoyed about it? What if this is another day 3 situation, Jordyn?
Not day 3. I cannot do it. Okay.
Yeah, so we start this episode, fallout of the veto. Brayden is faking being upset because he agreed. Also, the other part of this plan that I forgot to mention, Brayden agreed to go on the block and had no problems with it. Like, no one is safe in this scenario from the stupidity other than Kiefer for coming up with the stupid plan. Like, what?
He was having a gay old time out in the hot tub area. He was like,
he was living. Tera came out and he was like, and I'm just like, what is happening? What is happening?
I bet you wouldn't be if you ended up leaving.
Well, about that. Yeah, so there's just like a lot of blindsiding. Everyone's blindsided. Jed, blindsided.
Also,
Brayden, blindsided. Oh my god. So the rest of the episode, literally before the jury segment, Beth is nervous about taking out Jed since she realizes that Ty and Brayden are so close now. Jed is regretting using the veto on Beth. We get the might get emotional conversations. We only see the one with Ty, but he also had the exact same conversation with Kiefer as well, where he literally said, I might get emotional. And I'm just like, And then Beth is crying. Beth is full on tears.
Ty was crying.
Everyone's crying again. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Okay, so like, I'm really confused about some things.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Beth tears over possibly losing Jed, right?
Yeah. Yep.
There was a conversation that they did not show.
There were a few conversations they didn't show.
Yeah, but what I want to touch on is, who is she really upset about? Because, like, one thing that befuckles my mind with Beth is she told Ty she has been playing Jed all along, and then that she's more loyal to like Ty or whatever, and then yet she goes and warns Jed that it could be him, and was crying again. So like, did she lie to Ty or was it Jed?
I think what she said to Ty was truthful, but I think that moment that we saw, I don't remember seeing that on feeds. So I think that was today, where like it's the day that she's getting evicted, or that he's getting evicted, and now she's having the emotions of like, oh, maybe I actually care for this person beyond just using them for game purposes. And so that was the point where she was like, I think everything she said was valid, but her emotions on getting rid of Jed were what caught up with her.
So she actually does care about Jed, and she wasn't actually playing him.
It seems like it. It seems like it. I don't know if it's... Like, I don't think it's balanced.
That's what I want to know. I want to... Where...
I don't know. I think she cares for Jed, but not in the way that Jed is like head over heels for her.
But then like the way, and we'll get into it, but like the way the exit and all that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Before we can talk about an eviction, Jordyn, we say the jury! Oh, my 3 favorite players. Literally.
We got to see Ro show looking like a fucking snack.
Well, he did all season. What are you talking about?
I don't know if I'm just like in need of some things. It's been 84 years, but like I was noticing it more this evening.
It's been 84 years. Oh, you look great on it, but
I was a little confused about the jury segment.
What about
because like, okay, well they kind of were showing like Victoria living her best life.
Yes,
but then they waited to show like Ro's arrival that night. Like, I feel like the editing was a little wonky.
Yeah, I feel like they probably filmed the Victoria by herself segments after Ro came in, because there's no chance she made it from the eviction to the jury. There's no chance she made it from the studio to the jury house before the sun went down.
Because
not a chance.
She was wearing the dress when like he came into
I'm pretty sure it was like editing magic. They've never, to my knowledge, and if y'all in the comments and the chat know better.
I want to say that like this looked like one of the nicer jury houses that they've had.
This looked cute, but what I was gonna say is I don't know if we.
It looks like a cabin of some kind.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it's like in the outskirts, like a suburb of Toronto, is what it looks like to me. Probably like Kitchener or something. Look at me knowing my Canadian places, Jordyn. Look at me.
Maybe it's out by Chanel.
It might be. It might be. Shout out to our friend Coda Girl Chan. We love you. Go follow her on Twitch at Coda Girl Chan. But no, I to my knowledge, I don't know if they've ever done it on BBUS or BBCan, where the first juror is also part of the double eviction, where like, because normally what happens is they have the full week to themselves. Have they? I just don't remember offhand if any of them have. But like,
jury usually starts around when the double happens, is usually when jury starts.
Well, yeah, but normally they give like the first juror a full week, and then the double is at 8 instead of at 9.
I want to say
because that's why.
BB Can more frequently does the double
Mm-hmm.
with the starter jury.
Mm-hmm. I just don't remember offhand if they'd done it before. That's why I was also like kind of confused about the editing with like the Victoria by herself moments. Because normally they actually have a full week in the jury house by themselves doing nothing. And so I was just confused by that whole situation. But then the star of this jury segment genuinely is Vic and her reactions. Oh my god, Row show. I was like, oh, that's a genuine reaction. And
I
then
would have giggled if when Rosho and her were rowing, if like they tipped over the boat.
They were rowing! Jordyn, they were rowing. I just got that. They were rowing. They were rowing. And it was
Because it's
spicy.
like kayaking.
Yeah, or like
But
canoeing.
yeah.
But they were rowing, nonetheless. And then when Tina comes in, they're like, blue line.
I love how Tina was the, so we had Vic and Ro drinking wine, and Miss Tina Thistle has a bottle of beer.
Of course she does.
Love that.
I would find it hard to believe that Tina Thistle drinks anything other than beer. Sherry, if you're listening or watching, let us know. I would actually like to know what she does
Tina's
other than beer.
Drink of choice.
It's beer, obviously, but what else does she drink? And I love that Vic was like, I'm so sad to see Tina here, but she was kind of a floater, so and I'm just like, yes, but
Floaters
we love
grab
Tina.
a life vest.
Well, the floaters didn't.
That was that. No, but that was also the segment. They were like rowing, and then they were like floaters.
Grab a life vest. It wasn't that,
yeah.
But I would find it hard to believe that Victoria didn't know that reference.
Oh, she 100% did.
Yeah. We get a little bit of like game talk with the first three jurors. They're saying Kiefer's probably playing the best game, followed by Beth. My favorite part of this entire episode is when Rohan called Beth uncomfortable to be around. I cackled out loud for a while. This is like, what is happening? And then they all agree that Brayden needs to make a flashy move in order to, kind of maybe secure something later in this game. And then instead of going straight into the eviction, Jordyn, we get an inside the house piece, which was very clearly earlier today, not as everything is happening because none of them are dressed. But this, and we've heard about this conversation about whether Ty and Kiefer were going to tell Jed to his face that they were evicting him. And we didn't really know whether it was going to happen. Turns out it did. And Kiefer is talking about the money again. And I'm just like, yes, I understand. But
one thing that I was kind of like, I think they all might have a case for the money. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone who goes on Big Brother has a case for the money.
But it was just kind of like, what I found kind of annoying about it was, why are you trying to say your reasons aren't any more valid than Jed's, or vice versa? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I found that kind of condescending.
Yeah, I didn't love it. If I'm being honest. It just like, it felt, I don't know.
I think, and like, at that point, during that conversation, I feel like, that was jury management.
On Kiefer's part?
Well, like, Kiefer and Ty. sending Jed, being like, "Oh, we're not going to blindside you. We're going to be honest." That was 100% jury management.
Oh,
that was
of course
not.
Yeah. The thing I found interesting, though, is Jed, like, tells them straight up that, like, he's concerned how easily they can manipulate people. And I was like, hi, Jed. Welcome to Big Brother. Like,
I think part of that was, that might have been just, like, game-wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, like, the other thing, if I'm remembering correctly, Jed was a recruit. So I guess he may not have, like, a full understanding of how everything works in Big Brother and how, like, deceiving people can be. I don't really know. But regardless,
silly.
So we get to the speeches. Everyone's already crying. Arissa's like, "Hey, house guests," and everyone's crying. Like, there's tears everywhere. Tara's sitting there like,
"Cry me
I'm about to get Jed out." Copyright. No, I'm kidding. Brayden says there are pivotal moments to when an opportunity presents itself, you'd be foolish not to take it. And
honestly, the tea of all that statement.
Where's the lie? And Jed says that he's true to himself, riding with the people that he's been riding with since the start. And then we get some votes, and Kiefer is sad. And Ty is bawling. And Beth almost votes to evict Brayden.
I was
100%.
Like,
yep.
She's gonna give him a pity vote.
100%. 100%. I thought it was gonna be a 2-1 vote. 100%. I was like, she is about to vote to evict Brayden. Like 100%, she's about to do it. But she doesn't, and by a vote of 3-0, Jed was evicted. Or so they thought. And I loved this. Well, we get Beth going up the stairs with him. And I was like, can she just go with? Like, just evict them both together. Like, can she just walk? Like, that's fine. We don't need you. It's cool.
As much as I'm not the biggest Beth fan, I thought their sweet little moment was cute.
It was fine.
It pulled my heartstrings a little bit.
Oh, none of this pulled my heartstrings for her. I have not been a fan of her since week 2.
There's a production member standing in the little hallway.
That
with
poor production member with the mask on, with the shield, with the sign. This is like, shh, you're still in the game. And he goes. And so he goes through the camera runs. I'm like, oh my God, there's house guests in the camera runs. It reminded me of BBUK, Jordyn. It reminded me of BBUK. House guests in the camera runs. I was crying. I loved it. And then he goes through the camera runs and he goes into the HOH. He puts on headphones and there's like a piece of paper. We don't really know what it said, but it's probably like, this is a fake double eviction. You're not out. You get to compete. Yada, yada, yada. And so I thought it was real cute. Arissa was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And Jordyn, it's time for a fake double. But they think it's a real double.
When Tara, the moment Arissa was like, but guys, it's a double eviction. Tara
literally said, fuck.
They
bleeped her.
She was like,
no, they full on bleeped her. They were like, fuck.
You've seen the defeat. Like, all her life, just like.
She's like, well, I gotta win the veto. And so it's time for the fake double HOH, which had a name. And the veto! The veto had a name, Jordyn. The veto had a name. I was excited.
The veto had a name.
The veto had a name. But we're not at the veto yet. So the fake double HOH is called Say What Now? And so it's clips from the house. I assume that they're only hearing the audio and we're seeing the visual and hearing the audio, I assume.
I don't know how that worked.
Because it would give it away if you see it. Because then you could easily be like, oh, that's that day. So I assume, I'm going to say they only heard the audio. But all of the audio from different events in the house was voice dubbed. And then house guests had to answer with what day it happened. And I loved that the first one that they did, Jordyn, Miss Julie Vu.
Julie was on my TV again.
I loved it. I was like, yes, Austin was on our TV as well. And I was like, oh, Austin, I miss you.
The dolls.
The dolls. But yeah, so we're going through the competition. It's like pretty even. Kiefer got one wrong at the beginning. So he's like basically already out. And then Brayden got one wrong. And then I believe it was the 5th question. And Beth was throwing it, Jordyn. Beth,
yeah, that was kind of so. Like for a second there, I was like, everybody had their numbers like out, and there was this like delay with Beth, and I was like, this bitch is throwing it. Why?
And like the camera focused on her, and she was like, and then answered some random number, and I was like, why are you?
She used a double digit.
Yeah. And I was like, clearly that was day 7 or whatever the fuck it was.
I believe it was 9.
I'm just like, in the moment I was like, why are you throwing this? But then I guess it makes sense that like she can now compete in the next HOH. And so I get it. But ultimately with a perfect score, kind of shocked by this result because I didn't think everybody knew their days, but Ty won the HOH.
Ty won HOH.
Ty won a days comp. I was kind of surprised.
I loved the sass from him when he was like, you guys thought I didn't know my days.
I loved it. And unlike...
The second Ty won, and then we like cut to commercial or whatever, automatically I'm like, okay, so Tara's going to be one of the noms. Is it going to be Brayden?
I thought it was going to be Brayden.
I thought it was going to be like a Brayden or a Kiefer. So I was surprised 100%. When the nominees were
Tara and Beth. I don't have a banner for this one, so we're just gonna stay with Ty winning. So Tara and Beth are nominated.
I was surprised.
I was too. But in this moment, I was like, oh my God, Bethel could go home. Bethel could go home. I'm literally freaking out, running around my house, like freaking out my roommate, being like, oh my God, Beth is on the block. Beth is on the block again. And then, yes.
What I thought was funny was, oh, he's really about to send her out the door. And then the scenario in my head was Jed versus Beth to go back in.
I was living every fantasy at this point. But we'll get there. So we now get the veto competition with a name, Jordyn. It has a name.
What did you think of the veto?
You mean comb-free the veto? So this was a Survivor comp. That's what I thought of it.
And there was like a clear path to like, there was the fast way to do it.
So I thought it was like I thought it was like the Survivor comp where like you have to move like the ring through the comb, but turns out it was just not.
That was weird for me.
I was confused. So this was basically a knots competition. I was confused.
I thought it should have taken longer than what it did.
100%. It was literally over in like 2 minutes. And I was just like,
yeah.
Y'all probably spent like 3 hours setting up this veto for it to happen in 2 minutes. But yeah, it was like you had to undo some knots, move you're like attached to the rope though, and that's where I was confused. I was like, what the fuck? Like they were literally like untying like 2 in the back, and then there was like 1 on the comb itself, and I was confused.
Yeah.
But I wasn't mad, Jordyn. You want to know why, Jordyn? You want to know why I wasn't mad? Because Brayden won!
Brayden won the veto.
Brayden won a comp. I was so happy. Our beautiful Brayden has finally won a competition.
Can we just stop and appreciate the fact that, like, that boy has got some fashion in his arsenal?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he's been bringing the looks all season.
Yeah, but, like, the last few weeks, I've seen, like, these button-downs moments that he's bringing have been super cute. Like, the purple and gold, was it last week?
Oh, the lavender with like the gold like shimmering.
Yeah.
I want that shirt. If anyone knows where I can find that shirt, let me know. I want it.
Like, and then the other one was like tonight. It complements.
Oh, with like the dark with the flower pattern. Yes, I was on board.
It kind of would have like he would have looked good standing beside Orisa in that.
Uh-huh. But he didn't because he won the veto.
Yes, but what I'm saying is like their outfits tonight complemented each other so nicely.
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree with you. Yes. So Brayden wins the veto. Brayden is safe. Brayden is not going to be in the fake double. And he decides that he is not using the veto, which means our final fake double eviction nominations are Tera and Beth.
Yes.
And then, Jordyn, we get to the speeches and the vote. And Tera says...
Okay, so, like, before we get to that, I want to know what happened in, like, the commercial break. Because...
I need to know what happened.
I feel like something went down.
100%.
But yeah, let's talk about those speeches.
So Tera says, "My words have matched my actions every time." And Beth says, "Tera, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to do this. Oh my god. Your words haven't matched your things at all. I'm better for your game. I'm better for your game. Keep me. I'm better for your game. I'm better than Tera. Fuck Tera. Also, I'm better than Tera. I'm better than Tera."
What? Didn't she also say something like you've sworn on kids and family?
You've sworn on your kids. You've sworn on your family. All that.
Yeah.
Everyone has. It's Big Brother.
It's Big Brother.
Like, it's Big Brother. Like, who cares?
Big Brother.
So it's at this point that I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god. Bethel's going home. I'm so excited. Bethel is about to walk out right after Jed. And then Kiefer goes in the DR and votes to evict Tera. And I'm like, huh? Dad.
This is why I need answers. Like, what happened?
I am so confused. So then I'm like, oh, well, maybe like him and Brayden agreed that like they're gonna tie the vote, and then Ty has to break the tie because that's cute and funny.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
And then Brayden goes to the DR and votes to evict Tera. And so by a vote of 2-0, Tera was evicted. And I'm like, why? You had Beth on the block again. And you didn't take her out?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
I think the thought process is that Tara is more of a competitor than Beth. I don't think it has anything to do with like the connections that Beth has. I think honestly, and maybe we'll find out more on Monday, but I honestly think it had to do with the fact that Tara has a better shot of winning comps at the end than Beth.
Yeah, maybe. One thing,
yeah.
So she's evicted. The poor production person
It's
with her
still
sign,
there.
her shield.
It's still there. I hope she got to move. I hope they like took her out and then brought her back.
Tara comes into the HOH room and tells Jed, I'm assuming I thought it was sweet. Jed comforted her because she was visibly upset. But then she also, when she seen him initially, she was like, I have so much to tell you. So
yeah.
This only makes me wonder, whoever goes back in, what happened, and whoever goes back in is going to have info they didn't have before.
Yeah.
So as the camera cuts to like the kitchen and they're all jumping, Final Four, Final Four, Final Four. And then Arissa says, house guests, come back to the living room.
And they're like, not again, Arissa, not more information. And she goes, this was a fake double. And I was like, what? We're telling them it's a fake double? Gagged.
The gaggery. So I guess they get to watch them compete for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. In another competition with a name, Jordyn. This one had a name too. I was like, ah. So this competition, all we know is that this competition is called Heads Will Roll. Heads Will Roll. And we see that it's like a slanted board with a bunch of different balls. And so I'm assuming it is a version of that comp where you have to roll the balls up and land them in the like little hole. But there's like no like edge, so the balls could like fall off. I'm assuming that's what the comp is. Maybe there's like a balancing aspect where you have to like balance the board and do the ball. Not 100% sure. But Arissa does say that the winner will return into the game tonight with a vengeance.
Which leads me to believe they're going in with a power.
100%.
Now, if they're not, what also crossed my mind is if they're not going in with the power, maybe they will be the HOH.
HOH, that was my other thought. I was like, they're going to have some sort of advantage. I think it would be dumb if they made them the HOH, but also like, that's chaotic and I want to see it.
The reason, so here's my thought. If it defeats the purpose of having like a returning player or whatever, it defeats the purpose if they can just follow the person, like if they can just get re-evicted. So I'm assuming in some form of a way, whoever goes back in has power. They might have a week of safety.
At Final 5, though?
I know, but like, hello?
I mean, BB Can has done crazier.
Like, anytime past season, if the returning player has safety of some kind.
Yeah,
At least for a round.
I would just be gagged if they did this at Final 5. Like, that feels unfair.
Life is unfair. It's Big Brother.
I feel like, honestly, it could just be
and
like a veto.
Someone is always watching.
That is true. I feel like it's probably just some form of like a veto. Like,
but you know who isn't watching?
Who?
Nobody till Monday.
That is correct. Look at you in the transition. Look at you. Yeah, so they're blocking feeds until Monday, which kind of gagged. We already knew it was happening, so like it's not a shocker. But
they warned us.
They did. They told us they told us last week, I think, that they were cutting feeds.
No feeds till Monday.
Honestly, it'll be a nice break. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it'll be nice.
BB Twitter, y'all can sleep, get some rest.
All of my favorite live feeders get a 5-day break. I'm so excited. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting when we get feeds on Monday because we're gonna know who the final noms are.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as they're live after the episode, we're gonna be like, oh, who the fuck is on the block now? Who won veto? What the fuck is happening? And so I'm very...
One thing I could see them doing,
mm-hmm.
They're gonna wait till the West Coast airs.
Probably. Well, they didn't when they didn't when the season, when the live feeds came on, though. They said, oh, East Coast feeds. Like, that was a gag for all of us at the beginning of the season, because we were like, oh my god, feeds are already live. What the fuck? We were not prepared. We expected 3 more hours. What is happening?
Those watching live with us, what did you guys think of the fake double? One thing Jordyn, I would like to say before we wrap things up, I think this speculation corner, they actually didn't see the shit coming.
No.
For once, they all seemed generally shook.
100%.
Who do you think is gonna win their way back in?
Just because I don't want to see the trio make Final 5, I want Tera to come back.
That's fair.
It's just because I don't want the trio to stay intact. Even though I don't think they're going to be the trio, I think, honestly, if Jed comes back, he's going to be more inclined to not work with Ty specifically. I think he'll probably go back to Beth, but I'm going to say Tera because I think that would be more entertaining, because I think Tera would pop off more. And I want to see it.
Little tiny Tera? The terror of Tera?
The Tera.
I'm going to say I think it's going to be Jetson.
Okay.
Just keeping it interesting. I don't think if Jetson comes in, I don't see him working with Ty.
No.
I think things are like going to change. Will he go back to Beth? Yeah, that boy loves her.
Yeah.
It's clear. I don't know why. But
even though she's trying to hook him up with her friend, I was gagged by that. Like,
when did that happen? I missed that.
That was like Monday or Tuesday, I think.
I don't get it.
I don't either. But
One thing we can guarantee is heads are definitely going to roll.
Yes, because that's what the comp was called. So yes, absolutely. Oh, yes.
And
This was some nonsense, y'all. This was something else tonight, but we thank you
what
for...
I don't understand. Why are the ratings not good when this has been one of the better BB Can seasons in a long time?
If I remember correctly, all of the ratings for BB Can have been low, but then they like get better after the season. Like post show ratings are better, I think. I don't know. But you know what I do know, Jordyn?
We will be back.
We will be back. I learned how to do this. Scrolling banner.
I knew.
So yeah. You know what? I'm still learning how to use this, okay? But yes, we will be back. We will be back. We will be back Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern. We're going to be talking all things the Crazy Monday episode.
Yes. So, Crazy Monday episode. We'll have all of those deets. We will be back tomorrow night with The Circle discussing episodes 4 and 5.
5 and 6.
5 and 6. Jeez. Look. The Circle for me is flying by. Like,
we're literally
that is
already
one thing.
We're done with 2/3 of the season, Jordyn.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking Circle tomorrow.
Yeah.
We also pre-recorded something earlier today that should be coming out sometime in the near future.
I may have said on our Twitter that it was coming out today, but it didn't.
Look, we have had a week.
We have.
Join us tomorrow night when we talk Circle.
Yes.
We'll be back Wednesday. Hopefully Santi's here. Hopefully.
We would love it.
I feel like it's been 84 years.
It feels like it has been 84 years.
I think we will have a pretty good directory of how BB Can's coming.
Yeah.
On Wednesday's episode. And we have so much more content coming.
Oh, a lot of content. All of the content. Every little bit of the content.
Subscribe. Turn on notifications on YouTube, especially so you don't miss when we're live.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all of it today.
Yeah. And with that.
Wait, we get 3 episodes into under just over an hour. Wow, I am proud of us.
I told you. And with
we will see you guys tomorrow with Circle.
Or Wednesday with BB Can. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.